Hello and thanks for watching this quick little tutorial where today I am going to explain why at this point in time I feel like the 5-year hybrid is a better option than the 3-year hybrid. Now this always hasn't been the case. This hasn't always been the case. You see, we do these trainings unscripted here, and we believe that our veterans really enjoy that. There's no special bells and whistles. We just tell it how it is. Now, this is my opinion. This is Eric, president of Low VA Rates, and I hope to back my opinion up with some cold, hard facts that I hope you find this training very interesting. Now, I'm going to make an assumption, and that is that you already know about the VA hybrid. I am not going to educate you today on the VA hybrid. We have all sorts of videos on our YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com/low VA rates or ask one of our loan officers to send you some of them. That said, here's what you should already know. The hybrid loan allows you to take some control of your money back from the banks. Number two, the average life of a mortgage in this country, according to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, is somewhere between 4.2 to like 5.7 years. I'm just going to go ahead and say it's about 5.5 years on average. You also likely know that the hybrid loan allows you to put more of your hard-earned money toward principal and less of that money into the bank's hands. And we have shown this time and time again by sharing with you amortization schedules. We have you look at your current mortgage statement if you are a veteran on a 30-year fixed mortgage and how much less of your payment is going towards principal and how much more of it is going towards interest. And then we allow you to compare and contrast that with a hybrid loan. Also, as you know, this is a VA-backed and guaranteed mortgage. I didn't invent this mortgage. My company didn't invent this mortgage. The VA, along with the help of many experts, put this mortgage together, and it is very, very safe when compared to other types of adjustable rate mortgages. So let's keep going. Why do you go with a 5-year hybrid today as opposed to a 3-year hybrid? Now, don't worry. It's not going to look like this Einstein math over here. We're going to simplify it. However, before we simplify it, let's keep talking. Well, rates are heading upward. That's one of the reasons why I think a 5-year is better today than a 3-year. There's only a 0.5% difference, and that is going to have a minimal impact on your payment savings. So I'm talking about the interest rates that are available. Now, I can't quote rates here today. You can call your loan officer. You can contact us in many different ways to figure out what sort of rates that we can do today. But the difference between the 5-1 and the 3-1 is only a 0.5 percentage point. It's all in the math, and that's what I want to show you next year. The math, it really is this simple. We can all do 1 + 1 = 2. Well, let's look at some math. Number one, let's just assume that you were able to get a 2.25% 3-year hybrid today, and that your loan amount was somewhere around $225,000. You would have an $860 a month principal and interest payment. Now, if you got a 2.75 5-1 hybrid on the exact same size loan amount, you would have a payment of around $1,042 a month. So yes, the payment is higher. Okay? At the end of year 3, the balance on your 3-1 hybrid would be $208,000 and some change. The 5-1, you'd be at $209,000. So the 3-1, yes, you have a lower payment and you will have a slightly lower balance at the end of the 3rd year. Here, however, is where things start to change. Let's assume rates do rise. And I've made this assumption because of our current president, because of the comments the Federal Reserve have made. I'm going to side with most of the economists out there, and that is interest rates should start going up or continue to go up because they have already started to raise. And if they go up 1% in both year 4 and 5, then your 3-1 payment would increase all the way up to $1,080 a month, principal and interest only, and the 5-1 would still be locked in during its fixed rate period and would still be at the original $1,042. So not a huge difference, but you do start to see a change. if we keep these same assumptions as I just mentioned up here, your balance also flip-flops, if you will. At the year 5 mark, you will owe around $199,400 on the 3-1, yet you will owe only $199,100 on the 5-1. So the 5-1 also has less closing costs today than the 3-1. Now this has not always been the case. So if you've watched other videos of ours, or even would have talked to me sometime in the past 6 months, I may not have told you to go with the 5-1 over the 3-1, as my personal opinion. Now, we've sold many veterans on the 5-1 for many different reasons. However, I feel right now today there is more benefit and safety and comfort in going with the 5-1. Why is that? Well, as we have talked, the market thought rates were going to stay low. If you go back prior to our most recent presidential election, many people thought that Hillary Clinton would win and that she would keep us on the exact same economic course that we had been on, with low interest rates, an accommodating Federal Reserve, and that's kind of what everybody thought would happen if she won. So the 3-1 made more sense. Also, right now, under our current president, we have a steepening of the yield curve. Now, I'm not going to get too complex with you, but what that means is that investors, people that are buying bonds, people that are investing in the market, they see a rising inflation. They expect inflation to keep rising and stronger economic growth. Well, if you've turned on the news anytime in the last 4 or 5 months, that is kind of where we are today. We expect more economic growth due to the current administration, and the Federal Reserve is seeing more and more signs of healthy inflation. So this is what's happening. There is a much larger difference between the rate you could get on a 3-year ARM and a 5-year ARM back, 4, 5, 6 months ago. That just isn't the case now. For example, 6 months ago, we were offering a 1.75% 3-1, and we were not even looking at a 5-1 ARM because the yield curve was different then. Times have changed. So here's the greatest news of all. You're the veteran. You get to decide. We don't make these decisions for you. We simply educate, answer whatever questions we can, and then we let you decide. So if the lowest possible payment is your primary motivator, then you probably still ought to go with the lowest possible rate, which for now is still the 3-1. Believe it or not, there have been times in the past where you could get a lower rate if you were willing to take a 5-year ARM over a 3-year ARM. Logically, that may not make sense, but that's what the market created. And there was a situation where by taking a fixed rate for 3 years, you actually would have gotten a worse rate. We may go back to that point. Right now, your lowest rate is still going to be on the 3-1 hybrid. So if lowest rate and lowest payment's your most important, factor, go with the 3-1. However, if a lower payment than you're making now and lower closing costs combined are more important, or the most important, then by all means go with the 5-1. The 5-1 is going to have lower closing costs. Also, as I've mentioned, if you would like all of the benefits of the ARM loan, more money towards principal, more control in your hands, less money to the bank, but you still want more stability if the market and interest rates continue to go up, then the 5-1 is going to not only give you lower costs and a lower payment than your current rate, but it's also going to bring a bit more stability in today's market than maybe a 3-1 would. So I thank you for watching. Give that some consideration. Either way, we are huge supporters and believers in the VA hybrid loan. I have a conventional hybrid on my own property. I love the loan, and I thank you for watching.